Mother?
Alan, darling, I'm delighted that you could accept my invitation. You must be getting so tired of taking your meals at the grill.
Yeah, well, I wish that was the case. I've been relegated actually to the hospital cafeteria.
Ooh, dining in the trenches, are we?
Well, I see you two have returned from your triumphant excursion. I assume that's what it was.
Are you kidding? Was it ever? Let me tell you something, my Eddie. He wowed them
From township to village, young girls heaving flowers at his feet.
AJ has a dinner meeting with the mayor, and Emily's on a sleepover, but Monica should be home any moment now.
Were you able to find Justice?
No, but I left a message. Perhaps he'll turn up. Oh, I only wish that we could persuade Jason to come back to us now and then. Have you heard anything from him, Alan?
No, I wish I had.
Oh, well, perhaps in time. Well, in any case, Cook is preparing a lovely family meal.
Won't that be a nice change from the wife's meatball hoagies?
Actually, Nedley's into pasta, preferably cold, for breakfast.
Do you think you could stifle it just for one evening, Tracy?
Ooh, my, aren't we bad-tempered? But I suppose Monica kicking you out of the bedroom again was bound to affect your disposition.
And of course you would know about such a thing, having been booted yourself.
Oh, stop it. That's enough, you two. Please, no squabbling tonight.
Yeah, think Walton's Mountain.
Yes, do. Well, I'm going to confer with Cook. Now, be good, all of you, please.
By the way, Monica didn't kick. I left under my own steam.
You're looking awfully gloomy, Alan.
Oh, nice to see you too, Father.
How are things going at the hospital, Alan? Must be a big job taking over like that.
Oh, trying to fill Steve Hardy's shoes even temporarily. No wonder he's looking so strained.
Well, as long as you brought up the subject, I wasn't going to say anything till after dinner.
Ooh, then don't. You've already cast a pall on Mother's dinner party.
Oh, really? Was that him?
I'm sorry. I happen to be in a crisis right now. General Hospital's in dire straits. If we don't get an instant infusion of cash, there's a possibility this hospital may have to close. Father, I want you to get ELQ to underwrite a loan for the shortfall in the accrued deficit, please.
Absolutely not.
Please don't reject this out of hand.
Are you out of your mind? That's a
Shut up,
ridiculous
Tracy.
request.
When I
How
want
could
your
you
opinion, I'll ask for it.
Don't hold your breath waiting for him to ask.
And they're off.
I don't understand what the problem is here, Father. Both you and ELQ, personally and professionally, have given many contributions to the hospital.
Well, that's something else altogether.
Because it's a tax deduction.
Of course it is. You think there'd be any philanthropy at all if it were otherwise?
You know, there are some people that just give of themselves.
I don't mean crocheting doilies for a church bazaar.
In any event, underwriting a loan is an entirely different matter. I'm sorry, Ellen. It's out of the question.
Why?
Because it's bad business. Now, suppose the hospital defaulted and we had to pay, huh? How would we explain that to the stockholders?
We are the stockholders.
I'm not sure, but I think that's the problem.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you could have so little regard for an institution that was your good friend's entire life.
Now, Steve plays no part in this.
That's where you're wrong.
Friendship has nothing to do with business.
Precisely. And Steve Hardy understood that. Never once did he approach me for help.
That's because he knew your concept of friendship ended with your bank book.
Now,
How can you say something so insulting like that to Daddy?
That had to be what he thought. Otherwise, there's no conceivable reason how he could get the hospital into such a bad situation.
Now, that's enough. If there's something you don't understand about this whole situation, it's because you have no head for business, and you never did. But I will not have you dumping blame on the dead to cover your own incompetence.
I didn't produce this situation. I inherited it. And I'm doing the best I can to deal with it, which is more than I can say for you. You were sitting on the board the entire time. You were there when Steve made no secret whatsoever about his budget projections, and you rubber-stamped everything.
Well, what about you? You were supposedly his right-hand man.
I took care of the staff, not the finances.
Oh, listen to you. Another excuse. Now, listen to me, sonny boy. Steve Hardy was a brilliant doctor and a brilliant administrator. And if he was given free rein, it's because he was trusted implicitly, which is unfortunately more than I can say for you. Now, you can all just have dinner by yourselves. I've lost my appetite.
Shouldn't somebody go and see how he is? You know, I'd hate for him to have a heart attack for real.
I'll go. But I doubt it'll do any good.
I
I hope you're proud of yourself. You managed to completely ruin Mother's dinner party.
Any dinner in this house is a disaster waiting to happen.
And you, of course, Tracy, did absolutely nothing to make the situation worse.
I merely reacted appropriately to my brother's harebrained scheme. Really, Alan, this is pitiful. Your first real test as a hospital administrator, and the best you can come up with is to raid the family coffers? Daddy's right. You have absolutely no head for business. The only thing you ever did on the board was vote against me.
Oh, my gosh, Tracy, I wonder how that could ever happen. You're such a benevolent person at these meetings.
And Daddy accuses me of operating out of spite. Don't think that I've forgotten that you voted against Ned. You both despise me, and you turned it against my son.
Oh, for God's sakes, Tracy, you would have thrown Ned out yourself if the situation suited you. I mean, this sudden motherly concern really makes me gag.
Oh, and thanks to your darling son, Jason, we now have the godfather on the ELQ board.
Oh, will you two leave it alone?
Excuse me. Look, I understand how upset you are, but do you have to lump me with Tracy? I was trying to defend you.
No, you weren't. You were just using it as a chance to have a go at Tracy. If you were really on my side, Monica, you would have voiced some support in me getting that loan.
Oh, so it's my fault, is it? Well, maybe the reason I didn't support you is because I don't think it's a very hot idea. Do you want GH to be indebted to your father? He's obnoxious enough on that board. And now with Steve not here to keep him in tow.
Look, I'm not bad-mouthing Steve. I hate the idea of saying anything about him. But everything that I said to Father was absolutely true. His vision went far beyond any fiscal responsibility.
Fine. But you could have predicted how your father would react. Your timing was really lousy.
What else is new?
One step forward, 8 steps back.
It is a constant source of amazement to me how everything in this family always comes down to dollars and cents. Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. No kid of mine is ever going to grow up worshiping the almighty buck.
Well, you can't worship what you don't have.
Excuse me.
Well, if you're so concerned about corrupting your little darling with the almighty buck, as you put it, we can prevent that from happening. You see, it is the simplest thing in the world to protect your offspring from all that nasty money if it repels you so. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call Lee Baldwin. He still handles all the family personal matters. Shall I get him on the phone for you?
You know what? If I ever decide to do that, I'll give him a call myself, thank you.
Because when push comes to shove...
You know what, Mother Ashton? You should know something. When I get pushed, I shove right back.
Oof. So nice to know that Ned married a real tigress this time. I was wondering what those claws were for.
I'm prepared to protect my young.
So am I. So don't you worry your pretty little head about calling Lee Baldwin. There's lots of ways to get people cut out of wills.
Hey, don't worry, Lois. I've known Tracy for years, and I've never gotten used to her.
Well, I can handle my mother-in-law. I'm gonna go try and find Ned and see if we can salvage some small part of this evening for yours.
Quartermain residence.
Hey, I'm glad that you answered. I had worked up this whole complicated story as to why I was calling, and I'm not sure I could have remembered it. Is it safe to talk?
Well, that depends on who is speaking to whom. At the moment, most everybody is ripping each other's throats out, so no one would notice. It's just another typical quiet evening at the homestead.
Yeah, well, that sounds awful. Well, listen, actually, I am calling you from bed. What are the chances of you joining me?
Dylan! Sweetheart, where are you? Don't hide from Mommy. You know how I hate it. Dylan! Dylan!
Where do I sign up?
What's this new bit she's pulling about getting people out of wills in all kinds of ways, huh?
Don't you worry about it. My mother makes a sport of unnerving family members.
Yeah, but you know what? She didn't unnerve me. She ticked me off.
And you handled her beautifully.
Yeah, I did. Do you want to know something? I don't want to spend the rest of my life that way. If I ever had any doubts about moving to LA, she just took care of them. I just wish that we could tell people, you know? I mean, it feels really weird sitting on news this big.
I know, but you were right. Now is not the time.
God forbid we should spoil the party.
Well, I've managed to calm Edward to the point where he's agreed to eat with us.
Well, it's better than I could do.
But Alan, dear, please, please avoid the subject of Steve and General Hospital.
I'd be delighted to.
Well, now if you'll get Monica.
I thought she was with you.
I ran into her a little while ago. She said she won't be joining us for dinner.
Oh, dear. Have you two had another disagreement?
No, just more of the same old one.
Oh, I am sorry. I thought perhaps having us all together like this, that...
I think that's what they call hope springs eternal.
Quartermain residence, Alan Quartermain speaking.
Dr. Quartermain, I'm Dr. Donald with County Hospital in Brooklyn. I'm sorry, but I believe we have your son in emergency.
So will they miss you at home?
Oh, I don't think the smoke is sufficiently cleared for them to miss me at all. I can't thank you enough for rescuing me tonight.
Well, then why don't you let me rescue you again?